The restaurant was too expensive for heartbreak. Crystal glasses shimmered beneath golden chandeliers, a pianist played something soft and forgettable, and at the corner table near the window, two strangers sat abandoned by the people who were supposed to meet them. The billionaire CEO stared at her untouched glass of sparkling water, pretending not to notice the pitying glances from waiters. Across the room, a single father checked his phone for the 7th time, his jaw tight with quiet embarrassment. And then, with a voice low enough to avoid attention but gentle enough to carry kindness, he leaned slightly toward her and whispered that her blind date had not shown up either. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected connections that change lives, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Her name was Victoria Eleanor Whitmore, founder and CEO of Whitmore Global Technologies, a company valued at nearly $9 billion. At 38, she had built an empire from a cramped apartment and a second-hand laptop. She had negotiated contracts across continents, stared down boardrooms full of skeptical investors, and survived the brutal climb to the top of a male-dominated industry. Her calendar was always full, her phone never silent, her schedule engineered to the minute. Yet on that evening, none of that power could shield her from the simple humiliation of being stood up. Across the room sat Daniel Christopher Hayes, 35, a widowed father of a 7-year-old daughter named Lily Amelia Hayes. He worked as a middle school literature teacher, balancing grading papers at night with packing lunches at dawn. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness that left him shattered but determined. Since then, his world had narrowed to lesson plans, bedtime stories, and hospital bills that still haunted his savings account. Agreeing to a blind date had felt reckless, almost disloyal to the memory of his late wife, but his sister insisted he deserved companionship. Neither Victoria nor Daniel knew that the people who arranged their separate blind dates had chosen the same restaurant, the same time, and then failed to show up for entirely different reasons. Fate, it seemed, had a strange sense of timing. When Daniel noticed Victoria's composed but unmistakably lonely posture, something stirred inside him. He recognized that posture. It was the look of someone used to hiding disappointment behind dignity. He understood it well, he wore it often for Lily's sake. Victoria, meanwhile, had almost left. She disliked vulnerability. In her world, weakness was exploited. Yet when Daniel quietly acknowledged the shared embarrassment, she felt something unexpected, relief. Someone had seen her, not as a CEO, not as a headline, but as a human being experiencing a small, sharp hurt. They did not begin with grand confessions. They began with honesty. The conversation that followed unfolded slowly, cautiously, like two people stepping onto fragile ice. Victoria admitted she had not dated seriously in years. Daniel confessed he barely remembered how. She spoke about board meetings and global expansions, he spoke about science projects and bedtime negotiations. Their lives were galaxies apart, yet threaded by the same invisible loneliness. Victoria's challenge had always been trust. After building her company from nothing, she had watched former partners betray her, investors attempt hostile takeovers, even a past fiancé walk away when her ambition outgrew his comfort. She learned to protect herself with structure and control. Love, to her, felt like an unpredictable risk. Daniel's struggle was different but equally heavy. Grief had reshaped him. He carried guilt for wanting happiness again, fear of failing Lily if he allowed someone new into their lives, and constant financial pressure despite working tirelessly. He often felt invisible in a society that glorified wealth and overlooked quiet resilience. As the evening stretched on, the awkwardness dissolved. Victoria laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. Daniel felt seen not as a struggling single dad but as a man with depth and worth. When the pianist shifted to a softer melody, neither of them noticed the time. Over the following weeks, they met again. Coffee shops replaced boardrooms, playground benches replaced formal dining tables. Victoria met Lily on a bright Saturday afternoon in the park. The little girl, with cautious eyes and untamed curls, studied Victoria carefully before offering her a dandelion as a peace gesture. "Victoria," who could command a room of executives without flinching, found herself nervous in front of a child's quiet judgment. Winning Lily's trust became Victoria's greatest challenge. She understood mergers and acquisitions, but she did not understand bedtime fears or missing mommy tears. There were evenings when she questioned whether she belonged in Daniel's modest world. There were mornings when Daniel questioned whether he could ever fit into hers without losing himself. The media complicated everything. When photos surfaced of the billionaire CEO holding hands with a schoolteacher in a public park, speculation exploded. Headlines reduced Daniel to a stereotype. Some accused him of chasing money. Others claimed Victoria was staging a relatable image campaign. The scrutiny was relentless. Victoria considered stepping back to protect him. Daniel considered stepping away to protect Lily. But every time doubt crept in, they remembered that first whisper in the restaurant, the shared vulnerability that started it all. Change did not happen overnight. It unfolded in small, meaningful ways. Victoria began restructuring her schedule to create real space for life outside the office. She established a foundation funding educational programs for underprivileged children, inspired by Daniel's dedication to his students. Daniel, encouraged by Victoria's belief in him, pursued a long-delayed master's degree in educational leadership. The greatest turning point came one winter evening when Lily fell ill with a severe asthma attack. Daniel panicked, memories of hospital corridors flooding back. Victoria left an international conference mid-speech and rushed to the hospital. She stayed through the night, holding Lily's small hand while Daniel completed paperwork. In that sterile room filled with fear, something unbreakable formed. Months later, in that same restaurant where they had first been abandoned, Daniel arranged a quiet dinner. Not extravagant, not public, but deeply intentional. He did not whisper this time. He spoke with certainty about building a life together, not defined by wealth or status, but by presence and partnership. Victoria realized that for years she had been admired but not truly known. Daniel had known her from the moment he saw past her composure to her loneliness. And she had seen in him a strength that required no spotlight. Before this story comes to its close, take a moment to comment the word hope if you believe unexpected meetings can change everything. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even the most successful people can feel alone and that love can arrive quietly, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe for more stories that restore faith in humanity. Your engagement truly helps these stories reach hearts that need them. In the end, it was never about the blind dates who failed to show. It was about two people brave enough to stay seated in their vulnerability long enough to notice each other. And sometimes, the most extraordinary love stories begin not with fireworks, but with a simple whisper across a table meant for someone else.